Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Bruce here from Berlin. Welcome to the big show. Nice to have you here today. Glad you could join us. Sorry I missed you guys last week. Jen and I were traveling through to get to to Hamburg last week. We left Dortmund and headed to Hamburg. Then from Hamburg we landed here in Berlin. We're in Berlin now. This is our last night here. We head out tomorrow to Munich, and then we're heading to Vienna. I'm going to see you guys next week from Vienna, Austria. The week after that should be Zurich, Switzerland. The way this is going, unbelievable. We've been to London, Edinburgh, Amsterdam, Dortmund, Hamburg, Berlin, and now heading elsewhere. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Thank you, all of you, for sending such kind messages to me. I've been posting videos on TWB about our trip, landing in London and train ride to Edinburgh, and then Edinburgh itself, and doing the train ride from Edinburgh to London to Amsterdam through the under the tunnel, doing the channel thing, and then the video we just uploaded. I got it up. I just got it up last night. I think it was our time. Amsterdam with the Amrath Hotel. That video went up last night. I hope you had a chance to see it, or you'll get a chance later tonight. I hope you like it. We were blown away by that, by everything. Amsterdam itself is incredible, but that hotel in Amsterdam, oh my God. We were in a museum. We were living for 5 nights or so inside a working building, a museum that was once an office kind of a building, and now is a hotel. It's just stunning. There was no way I could get everything into that video about that building. That building is just amazing. We loved it. The next video you're going to get from me is going to be coming to you of our trip to Hamburg, where we went and visited the Miniature Wonderland Museum. This place is unbelievable. I thought the hotel was pretty cool. We're both so glad we went to this place. Jennifer and I were in there for 5 hours, I think it was, minimum. Thank God they rented a wheelchair, or well, they let us use one for nothing. We had a wheelchair to use. It was I got a video. The video that I'm going to be putting together for this, I might have to make a 2-parter because there is just so much footage that I was able to shoot, and so much to talk to you about. It's just mind-numbing. You have to come to Germany, one, because it's an incredible country to visit in any event, but you come to Germany to absolutely see Berlin, of course, and Munich, and any other city, but Hamburg. You got to go to Hamburg. Just, if you don't do anything, you've got to go see this Miniature Wunderland museum. It is incredible. They're still building it. They're still expanding this place. It's growing. It's still they've leased more space to grow it out. Unreal. And I hate to say it the way I'm going to say it, but I don't want to offend anybody. But I'm telling you, if you're coming with kids, you're going to have to, as an adult, if you're coming with children, okay, you have to go twice. Once without the kids and once with the kids. Because what I witnessed and what I can imagine is so many parents bring their children to this place because, you know, it's a miniature museum with little trains and, oh, won't it be cute? Wrong. Completely wrong. The little ones are blown away by what they see, but they completely don't get it. And they can't get it. They can't fully appreciate the complexity and the logistical miraculousness of this place. You can. but you need time to absorb what you are going to see, because you'll get to a point in this museum where you'll see all kinds of trains moving and planes flying and boats in water and people moving, and you'll just stand there, and next thing you know, it's 20 minutes later, you haven't moved an inch and you haven't seen it all yet. You're just kind of going, oh, oh, oh. With the kids, they have an 8-second attention span, which, you know why. We were made to have 8-second attention span. They're not able to sit there and just go and do that. Where I'm watching grandparents, like empty nesters. I'm watching empty nesters look at these designs and these layouts and these hundreds of thousands of things to look at, and they're just like, wow, wow, oh, look at that, oh, look at that, oh, look at that. And then I see parents with kids who are squirming and they want, I want to go, I want to see something else. You're blowing it. So you got to go twice. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know how you can pull it off, but you got to find a way to get the kids looked after for one day, and then you can go on another. That's how incredible this place is. You've got to have 5 hours of time for just yourself, or you and your wife, you and your better half, however you're doing it, to really appreciate it. And I can understand how people go there about every 3-4 years, and they go again, and they go again, and they go again, because it changes. It constantly changes, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just that's the next video. I can't wait for that. So thank you, all of you who've been sending kind messages to us saying, oh, we love that video. I love that video you did about this, or love what you did about Edinburgh, or love the video about the train, or I love the video about this. I'm going to keep them coming to you. My iPhone is just cranking up all kinds of footage, and it's pretty cool. So thank you from Jen and I to all of you from around the world who've been catching up with us and following us. We will next week be in Vienna for our next show, and the one after that will be Zurich, as we continue our trip into July. We're just going to keep right on going, and it has been really something. Berlin, where we are now, unbelievable. You cannot believe the history of this city. You know of it, you're aware of it, but when you're here, physically here, you realize, oh my God, the history of this place is so immense and incredible. Then the other thing you begin to notice is, depending on where you are in Berlin itself, you begin to notice all the embassies that are here, and you're going, oh yeah, this is kind of like, this city is just as important as Washington is. This city is as important as Beijing is. Everybody's here. Everybody is here. And the American embassy is something to see. Although I will bet you many Americans have no idea how amazing it is, where it is physically located, the history of where the American embassy is actually sitting in this city. It's really something. Jen and I were just having a coffee yesterday at the Brandenburg Gate, which you've all seen a million times, when Ronnie Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. The wall was right in front of the Brandenburg Gate, and Mr. Reagan was on the front of the wall, the West German side. But where we were sitting was the East German side behind the Brandenburg Gate. And that is where the American embassy is located, along with the French embassy and the British embassy for the UK. The three big partners after the war that came in here. There was the British sector, the American sector, the French sector, the Russian sector. This city was divvied up, and the three Allied powers have their embassies on the east side of the gate, right on the other side. As soon as that wall came down and unification happened between East and West Germany, the Americans moved in, The French moved in, the Brits moved in. Canada's a block away. They're on East German territory, East Berlin territory. Belgium, Sweden, they're all there. It's incredible. And the flags of the countries silently fly in front of these embassy buildings. And the more you pay attention to these things, the more you realize, oh, yeah, that's right. This is a capital city. This city has one of the highest numbers of embassies of any city in the world. That's how important this place is. There's a huge American embassy presence here, and UK, and so on and so on and so on. So, yeah, it's an important town. The German chancellery and the government buildings here, stunning and really cool. And then, of course, if you're into infrastructure and if you're into railroads and if you're into canals and you're into people watching, you're going to love this place. I mean, you're just going to love this place. Now, if you're a young backpacker and you just want to travel Europe between a gap year, you're going to love it here too, because there are hostels and the guys look at the girls look at the guys, and it's great. And if you love riding a bike, you're going to love this town. If you love riding a bike, there you go. All right, that's enough of that. Welcome to the channel. Nice to have you here. Got some cruise news for you, which I'll bring your way shortly. Germany, what is the weather? I'm like number 2 on the like scale. Thank you for these thumbs ups, everybody. Yeah, if you're giving me a thumbs up, so let me know what number you are. Germany weather is gorgeous. 81 for the high yesterday was our day. Absolutely fantastic. Right now in Berlin, it is 6:12 in the evening, and we're 74 degrees right now. They're talking about some thunder showers possibly in the area, but we're clearing out tonight. We're going to be 60s for the low. Tomorrow's high will be 77. Wednesday, 78. Sunshine, mainly sunny. Odd shower Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, sunny. 74, 81, 82, 81. Perfect weather. Absolutely perfect weather. You're going to love it. Hi from Berlin. Brittany, hi, Bruce, and all from Pensacola, Florida. I had company over the weekend, which just happened to be my mom and stepfather, helping me to get stuff set up in my new apartment. Way to go, you guys. I hope it's working out for you. It just took over a week for the truck to get my furniture, and my mom and stepfather brought my husband and some more furniture in my new apartment. We're not ready yet, but we're getting there. Karen is here. Hi, Bruce and Ken. Hi, Bruce and Jen. I'll get it figured out. Jen is with me, not Ken. Hi, Bruce and Jen from Kildare, Illinois. Rainy and upper 60s here. Following your travels, enjoying the videos very much. Thank you so much, you guys. Amicus is here. Welcome. Thank you for the thumbs up. Michelle Lucas, AZ living 114 degrees later in the week. Yikes. Yeah, a little warmer than here. Jeannie, hello, Bruce, and all TWBers. Bill and Jeannie are watching. It's currently 79 Fahrenheit. It's a beautiful day. Rocky Grasso is in the house as well. Good afternoon. Thank you, Rocky, for being here. Diane Schroeder. Hi there, Diane Schroeder from Cabo, St. Lucas. Welcome, Diane. I know Diane hangs out in Palm Desert, California, Rancho Mirage area. I had the absolute pleasure of seeing her live and in person at the Monterey Golf and Country Club back in the New Year when we were there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again, hopefully next year. We're keeping our eyes open for rentals through the winter season, and it's great. I hope you're having a great time down there. You deserve a break. You've been working hard. Nathan, welcome. Hey. Hope everyone's doing great. Working while I watch. Those FedEx packages aren't going to deliver themselves. Right on, buddy. Keep it going, man. Nikki is here. Hey, y'all, from Jacksonville, Florida, 82 degrees at noon. Brittany sitting outside of my balcony and watching you, Bruce. Kirk Brunson's YouTube and Facebook channel. Hi, Bruce and TWB family. Kirk from New York City is here, and I'm going to work, buddy. I'm sorry to see it, but that means you're making cruise money, and that's okay. You're making more cruise money. Brittany Anderson has become a new member of the channel. Brittany, welcome back to the gang. Great to have you here. Looking forward to having you on the Sponsor Member Hangout show next week, because an hour before the big show, I go live for sponsor members exclusively, and that's every week. So I look forward to having you join me next week. AJ's Travel Adventures. If you're having a nice day today, just here in Sacramento, having a 95-degree day. Awesome, man. That's warm. I love the heat. I just love it. Nice and warm. Warm and dry was what I really like. But yeah, here in Berlin, it's gorgeous. The leaves are out. It's gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic out. We've been enjoying it. We've been marveling at all of it. I'll show you here some photos. This is a photo that Jen and I, this is a view we had yesterday. We were out yesterday afternoon at the Brandenburg Gate. You'll recognize this thing right here. There's the Brandenburg Gate, if I can get it to work. There it is. That we're on the East German or the East Berlin side. President Reagan was on the opposite side of this gate. And this building here with the waterfront in front, this building, this L-shape, it's the French embassy. And then over here on this side, this L-shaped building is the American embassy. And if I zoom in enough, you will see the American flag flying in front of the American embassy. That is just inside East Berlin. And now that the East and West are reunited, we're not walking away from this place. So we're here to stay. Anyway, we were there yesterday. We had a gorgeous day. As you can see, it was beautiful, sunny, fantastic weather. And we just enjoyed ourselves. Got ourselves a Starbucks coffee. And I can tell you that the Starbucks at the Brandenburg Gate was packed to the rafters. There were 20 people at a time waiting to order, 20 people at a time waiting for their coffee to get done, all inside this place. And then inside were tables, outside where we were tables. And it was just a nonstop flow of people. And there had to have been 15 employees behind the counter making the coffees and the lattes and the drinks and everything. Oh my God, it was incredible. It was just incredible. Yeah, they're not losing money in Berlin at Starbucks. They're making money here for sure. Quite amazing. So there are a lot of private cafes in Berlin, of course, a lot of other franchises, German franchises as well. So yeah, the Berliners love beer and they love coffee, very much so. But it was pretty amazing to hang out yesterday and just people watch at the Brandenburg Gate, knowing that back in 1989, the wall came down, and in 1990, German reunification began. And by 91, the two Germanys were one again, East Germany, West Germany. My father had been in the Canadian Army and had been stationed in West Germany at a NATO facility, just in case the Russians were coming over the wall. There were hundreds of thousands of German troops, Canadian troops, American, French, English, all throughout Western Germany, just in case the Russians decided to start it again. And it didn't happen. But the wall was put up there to prevent another world war. Jeffrey Weir is saying hi. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. A little bit of news for you on the cruise front that I thought I'd share with you today. Let me just kind of get this out of the way here and take a peek here. I noticed today an article came out about Norwegian. Norwegian Cruise Lines, they announced that they have been contacting cruiser wannabes, people who have literally booked and paid in advance for a cruise in Hawaii on the Pride of America, the ship Pride of America that sails out of Honolulu. They do these week-long cruises around the Hawaiian Islands. It's the only U.S. flagged and U.S. Staffed cruise ship, period, that handles passengers of this magnitude. This is a big ship with probably 2,000 plus passengers. Norwegian announced just today, that they have been sending out notices to a number of these folks who have cruises booked for the next few weeks and months, that they've had to cancel their cruises. And the reason that they're canceling their cruises is due to a staff shortage. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Staff shortage. In your hometown, have you noticed help wanted signs everywhere in your hometown? I know in California, when Jen and I were down there, everybody had a help wanted sign. I mean, Costco had it, Walmart had it, Target, every McDonald's, every In-N-Out Burger, Burger King, every gas station, shopping malls, every store in the shopping mall, help wanted, help wanted. Norwegian cannot get fast enough approval through the US whatever, and for whatever reason, they can't seem to get enough Americans to join them in taking a job on board the Pride of America cruise ship. And so what they are doing is they're limiting the occupancy of the ships, of this particular ship. They didn't say the percentage, but it has to be significant because it did make the press. The story goes that if you are being canceled out, what they're doing is they're refunding you, and this is why it's so serious. They are sending you back your money. You know that Norwegian doesn't want to do this. Norwegian needs every dime they can get their hands on right now, trying to get their business up and running and making money again. They are sending people back all their money for their cruises, plus giving them a 100% future credit on a future cruise, plus compensating people up to $500 each on canceled airfares. This is seriously expensive. And I don't know how many thousands of people we're talking about, but if they're talking 20% reduction in capacity, we might be talking as many as 500 people per cruise being refunded. And if you talk about 10 cruises being refunded, that's 5,000 people getting their dough back and then handing out 5,000 free cruises on top of that. That's $10,000 or 10,000 people of money they are foregoing because they can't get enough staff hired on board the ship to operate it properly. I'm sure that they're running into the possibility of Coast Guard violations. And there's probably a U.S. Marine law somewhere that has a ratio of ship personnel to passengers for fire drills, for putting out fires, for putting for medical, for evacuation, for you name it. And they're having trouble getting people. And this is Americans. And I guess you can understand the problem. You can't just. How do they recruit people in Kansas for a cruise ship in Hawaii? How do you do that? You're going after, obviously, the Hawaiian labor market as best as you can. The problem is, I would imagine that you're working on the ship. You can't go home at night when your shift is over. You're on the ship for the week. And I would imagine that the reality of it is that Norwegian is offering 3-month, 6-month, 9-month working contracts where they want their staff to stay on the ship for cruise after cruise after cruise. They don't want to have to change them off every week. It's impossible to do that. If you've got 1,500 crew, are you going to have like every 3 weeks the crew can get a week off? Are you going to do that? 3 weeks on, 1 week off? That means you have 500 crew to turn over every week. All on top of the 2,000 to 2,500 passengers you're turning over every week. The logistics have got to be just mind-blowing for these guys. And so I can imagine that they're having problems to attract staff to come on the ship when right now, I bet you, if you live in Hawaii and you want a job as a bartender, you want a job as a server, you want a job as a restaurant manager, you can probably get a job on land and you can commute to your job and be home at 5:30 every day with your wife and children and kids, and not be stuck on the cruise ship. For what kind of shifts are we talking about? Are we talking about 12 hours on, 12 hours off, or are we talking about 16 hours on duty, 8 hours off duty? And when you're off duty, where are you? You're down below on deck 3 and 4 with the other crew in your little cubicle. Try to attract people in today's work environment when you can only offer that. You're not going to offer people $65,000 a year to clean off tables on a restaurant on a cruise ship. I mean, we're talking the lowest paid gig with the highest work ethic required. I mean, just my God, I can imagine that Norwegian is having one heck of a time with the U.S. crewed ship. Think about how much fun they're having with the rest of the cruise line. Now, Carnival, apparently, the news out of Carnival is they are now or have been limiting specialty dining on board a number of their cruise ships. Now, I want to hear from any of you who are here now, or any of you who are watching this on rerun. Send me a message. Tell me if you've been on a Carnival cruise yet so far in the last 3-6 months. Have you found that every single one of the specialty restaurants are being offered to you? Or have you noticed, depending on what ship you're on with the Carnival fleet, that a number of the specialty restaurants are not open? Or they're open on a rotational basis. Today, this restaurant's open, but that one's closed. Or tonight, this one's open, but that one's closed. Have you noticed anything like that? Because the story goes, in the case of Carnival, they got another problem. And the problem that they have is they can't seem to get enough staff approved quickly enough by the U.S. State Department, the Homeland Security Department, for employees to work on their cruise ships. Because remember, a Carnival ship comes to Miami and unloads 2,000 passengers and picks up 2,000 passengers, offloads the garbage, onloads the fresh food, the booze, all the provisions. And while that ship is sitting in Miami, there are people working on that ship for the cruise line that are non-Americans. They're international workers. They've all had to somehow be approved by Homeland Security to arrive into the U.S., to go on that ship, to be allowed in and out of the U.S. every week on these turnovers. Same in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Galveston, and so on and so on and so on. All the ports that Carnival is using with all of their international staff, they cannot seem to get all staff in and approved to get them on these ships. They're way behind. And the U.S. government, the Homeland Security people, whatever it is, they too are probably dealing with staff shortages. Because how many of you guys are planning your first trip in 2 years for whatever it is you're going to do? You're going to fly in and out of the United States somewhere? Are you cruising somewhere? The stress on the security systems, on the Homeland Security people, customs people, their workloads have just exploded in the last few months. And for the rest of the summer, will be out of this world. And on top of everything else, they've got to approve all these folks to work on all these jobs, on all these ships for all the cruise lines combined. The logistical nightmares just got to be over the top. So that's news out of Carnival. Now, I noticed, speaking of Carnival, I know there was a story out a couple of weeks ago. I didn't cover it, but I know you know about it. It was the Carnival Freedom cruise ship. The Carnival Freedom had that fire in their smokestack. I think at the time the ship was docked at Turks and Caicos, and the fire broke out coming out of the exhaust area, and then they fought it. They had hoses, fire, going at. It took 20 minutes to get the fire out. but obviously the damage was severe. Um, most of the damage not seen to the human eye, obviously. And the Carnival Cruise Line people have been very reluctant to tell us just how bad it is. But we do know that the cruise ended there and passengers were transferred to other ships over the next few days to go back to, I think, Fort Lauderdale, where the ship started from. Anyway, that ship now is in dry dock in Freeport, Bahamas. That ship is now in what we call emergency dry dock. And I am sure that they have been ripping away all kinds of burnt out parts. And this has got to go right down to close to the entire exhaust system of the ship. This has got to be costing them a fortune. I'm imagining that insurance is covering a portion of the damage and repair, but I don't know if Carnival has insurance in place to repair or to reimburse it for all the lost costs, all the lost revenue from cruise after cruise after cruise after cruise that has been canceled on the Freedom. I was curious about that. If any of you were scheduled on the Freedom, let me know and tell me if it's affected you. Karen, did you get to see Checkpoint Charlie? Yeah, we were in Berlin as one of our cruise ports in 14 Baltic. Love this area very much. Hope to get back someday. Checkpoint Charlie is not far away from the Potsdamer and Brandenburg Gate area. Potsdamer Platz, Brandenburg Gate. We didn't go to it this time around, but we've been there, and I have taken a Checkpoint Charlie museum tour. There are a couple of private museum operators in that area, and I've seen that, yes, and I've been in that area and seen that area as well. Brittany, 2 weeks over tomorrow, my husband and I, a moving truck, got our stuff, and we got our furniture back Friday, and my mom and stepmother came on Saturday about 45 minutes ago. Brittany, they're getting it together. They left before the show started, and I hope your mother is doing very well. And I'm so glad you're here with us today. Henry Marshall, thumbs up number 22, buddy. It's raining and 65 degrees in Western Springs. I'll be visiting family. Looks like gas is about $4.50 a gallon in the area. You folks in California have got to be paying through the nose for gasoline. I'd love to know, what are you paying out there? What's gas in Florida? What's gas in Texas? What's the price of gas in California? Let me know if you can. AJ's Travel Adventures. We're on Symphony of the Seas a few months ago, and their specialty restaurants were all open. So everything was running on Royal Caribbean, no problemo. Good to hear there. I was wondering, though, on Symphony of the Seas, was the ship at full capacity, or were you limited to 60%, 70%? Because we had heard over the last few months that, yeah, they were operating cruise ships, they were getting them going again, but they were on restricted capacity levels so that they could, handle what they could handle with the crews they had. It's been a real battle, what's going on. One more story for you that I'll tell you about in cruise news. Apparently, I guess in Southampton, in the UK, folks who were on the cruise ship known as the Ventura, a P&O ship, P&O Ventura. I think that ship can hold almost 3,000 people. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a good size ship. They watched an interesting thing happen. I guess they were loading up passengers to, go on a cruise. They had already offloaded people, and now they were loading on people. And while you and I are in the the terminal, and then we get brought into these big waiting rooms, and we get put into groups, and then they call groups, all of you with a green tag, all of you with an orange tag or whatever, come on up. And then you get on the ship, right? You get on in 20, 40, 50 person groups. And then we're allowed to go wherever we want. While that was going on, down below, if you're an observer of this sort of stuff, one of the things I love to do is I get on the ship and I look over the side and I see all the action down below, and I see all these vehicles taking stuff off the ship, like the garbage and the bag. Although the baggage is usually off immediately, they're putting on baggage now, and they're putting on the food for the current trip we're on and putting on the booze and everything else. Apparently, one of the skids that held luggage was on a forklift, and what they do is they pick the thing up on the dock, and then they turn the forklift towards the ship, and then they drive the forklift to the opening on the ship, and then they get the fork in onto a platform, and then they drop it on to a steel balcony thing that's hanging off the ship, and then inside the ship is a forklift that picks up this thing and brings it into the ship, and then they drive the luggage container to a portion of the deck below deck, and then a whole army of guys are down there taking bags off and taking the bags to various floors. And so you get on the ship around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and by 3, 4, 5 o'clock, your bags are supposed to be outside your room waiting for you to bring them in. Well, apparently, story goes, one of the forklift guys had one of these huge containers of bags and didn't make it to the little balcony thing. It tipped into the water, and the whole thing dropped into the ocean. And in the Southampton harbor, a whole bunch of luggage started floating around the ship. So I guess what they had to do, I don't know how they did this, but I'm going to speculate what probably took place was, of course, immediately the alarms went off, and everyone realized, oh my God, we got a bunch of luggage in the water. They had to get the luggage out of the water. The problem is, if you've ever been near a cruise ship, when a cruise ship is being loaded up, it's a real zoo down there, and there's a lot of equipment coming and going. And what you do not have is a whole bunch of people running around on foot to try to figure this out. The other problem is that depending on whether it's high tide or low tide, you could be in a scenario where, yeah, the ship is tied up 5, 6, 8, 10 feet from the pier, but the water between the ship and the pier is moving because there's currents coming and going all the time. The baggage is floating away. And it was just possible that the luggage was being loaded up on the back end of the ship, the aft end of the ship, and that the water was flowing towards the aft end, the back end of the ship. And so these bags were pretty quickly heading out to sea. So it's entirely likely within 15, 20 minutes of the event that 30, 40, 50 bags were now 200 feet, 300 feet, 400 feet away from the ship now and floating wherever. And of course, the wind is there and everything else. So I guess what they then did, the story goes that they lowered 2 lifeboats off the other side of the ship into the water. They had to get crew together. They had to gather up crew, tell them what's going on, get those darn lifeboats down into the water, detach them, and then get the lifeboats to get the luggage while it was still floating. And apparently, story goes that all the luggage was recovered. The bags were pulled out of the water, so they say. And then the luggage was brought onto the ships, probably on through the with the lifeboats and whatnot. They probably got them to the other side of the ship, and then he loaded the bags onto the ship, bag by bag. And then they had to identify whose bag is who, and then they had to obviously deal with the issue at hand, and that is, Mr. Frommert, I'm sorry to say that 2 of your bags fell off the ship and off the pier into the water, and were in the water for an hour, and we managed to recover them, but there might be some leakage inside your luggage. And of course, you'd like to think that, when we see photos of cruise ships, usually what we do is we see them in tropical paradise type photos, and you see the crystal blue water around the ship, and people on the beach waving at people on the ship, and people in bathing suits and under parasols and stuff. What you don't generally see are stock photo images from cruise lines of the ships in port being loaded and offloaded by a bunch of Teamsters and other unionized guys. And the water between the ship and the pier and the water in the harbor and port is usually not of a turquoise kind of color and of a crystal clear variety. It's entirely likely that there are a few oil slicks here and there, and there's a few, scummy kind of areas where the water is not so, it's you gotta get, it's not quite so pristine like in the brochures, and so you got to wonder these bags, how scum covered were they? How much water got into them, and what was in the bags that these people had? I'm a YouTuber. Can you imagine? There's no way when I go on a cruise today, if I go on a cruise today, I might have a big suitcase with clothes in it that Jen and I have. We might have two of them. But I also have a carry-on bag, like a carry-on suitcase with wheels on it. That is what I call the store. Inside that thing is everything to do with this channel. This computer, this big ass iPad I got here, all my cables, my any backup systems I have, my microphone, anything to do with my YouTube channel is with me in my hand getting on that ship. There's no way I'm checking that bag with some Teamster guys down at the dock and I'll see that thing in 6 hours. Oh no, that's not it. Because inside that suitcase is everything to do with not only this channel, but my other channel. But how many folks had their suitcases, loaded up, and all they wanted to do is just walk on the ship, the husband and the wife just wanted to have her purse on her shoulder, and they want to explore the ship. They didn't want to bring a carry-on with them. They checked it all in. How many cameras and computers and iPads were subjected to salt water in the harbor in Southampton for an hour or two? And the clothing, how many of the women's best outfits for those fancy dinners and their favorite pair of shoes and all their other unmentionable, how much of that got wet from this particular kind of water inside the harbor? What was the compensation and what was the logistics of the compensation? Hey, we're leaving in an hour. This ship is leaving port. You can't go into Southampton right now and go buy something. That's not going to happen. You don't even know if your bag ended up in the water. You might not know until tonight at 8 or 9 o'clock tonight when there's a knock on your door that, I'm sorry to inform you that 2 of your bags have been recovered in the Southampton harbor. Would you please come down to deck 4 to claim this stuff? And then you're looking at your stuff and it's just destroyed. Oh my God, what? Oh, I don't want to be the crew member that has to deal with this. I don't want to be the person who has to claim it. I don't want to be the husband who has the wife who has to, I don't want to be that. I don't want to, God. Can you imagine? Anyway, that was apparently everything from the cruise line was positive. We recovered all the bags, and that's all that was said. I leave the rest to you. Have you ever had anything fall over the ship that was yours like that? Oh, no. Janice is saying gas in Central Florida, $4.70 a gallon. Nathan Asheville, North Carolina, $4.29 a gallon on the low end. AJ's Travel Ventures, California gas, $6.75 a gallon, baby. $6.75. Symphony of the Seas had only 3,900 people, and it typically holds 6,000. AJ, you got it. That just as I was speculating with you, you were on the ship, everything was running, but only 3,900 people. That was 65% capacity. Yep. So they could have run that ship with 400 fewer crew, right? Easily. Brittany, gas prices range from $4.75 to $5.56 a gallon in Pensacola, Florida. Drive about 35 miles to a gas station called Buc-ee's. You will find much better gas prices, and you can never just get gas there, as there is a huge store with all kinds of things. That's right, Buc-ee's. That's absolutely right, Brittany. You know what Buc-ee's is. Those are huge. Kurt is in the house. How you doing, buddy? $2.42 a liter for gas in Belgium, and that is euros. That is not dollars. That's euros. You got to add about 7% to that to make that American money. So you want to add about 20 cents to that. That's $2.60 a liter, and you need 3.7 liters for a U.S. gallon. Just so you know what we're talking about here. So let me figure this out. 260 times 3.7, $9.62 a gallon. Kurt is talking about gas in Belgium. You want to drive a Ram pickup truck with a 350 cubic inch V8 engine in Belgium? You better have a lot of cash, buddy. You are really going through money. Donna MC, California gas prices vary depending on where you live. Definitely over $5 a gallon. Many places over $6. The news found a station that was $10 a gallon. It's greed, not inflation. Brittany, there was sorry, that was back to Buc-ee's there. Great. The nearest one is Alabama, she says. Kurt, thumbs up 22, buddy. Thank you so much, everyone, for these thumbs ups. We appreciate them very much. Brittany, I am watching you on my tablet right now. Brittany, what a nightmare for those passengers having their items soaked in seawater with oil slicks and seaweed and, oh, the organics. Ooh, no. Don't even want that. I don't even want the suitcase in my room. Don't even give it to me. I'll just write it off. Just give me a check. Give me $1,000 for it. I don't know. What do you get? What do they give you? $50? $100? What would they give you for what is the so-called, deal that you've signed? You remember when you booked your cruise, you had to agree to all the terms and conditions of the cruise? Where in the deep paperwork of your ticket does it give you any compensation of any kind for your suitcase getting dumped into the sea from land to your ship? There might not be any compensation. Now, if you've got insurance, through your travel insurance, and it covers luggage, maybe there. But now, even there, you might only have a standard $200 per bag. And what if the bag itself was $200? I mean, you bought a nice suitcase on wheels, part of a set. Inside it is $800 worth of stuff. I mean, your best suit. The guy was going to wear a tuxedo to the formal night. I don't know. I'm just saying. And God forbid people had cameras in there, tablets, laptops. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I could that's what I'm saying. Deep inside, I'm going, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Yuck is what I'm saying. Just it's just yuck. Yes. I don't want that thing in my cabin to smell from that thing. Oh no. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Anyway, amazing, isn't it? Yeah, gasoline here in Berlin. I'm trying to remember if we've even seen a gas station. I don't know if Jen and I have been anywhere near a gas station here. Dortmund, Germany was like 220 euros. Yeah. So very similar to what Kurt was saying. Kurt, a little higher than what we saw. But we did see 185 to 225 a liter in Dortmund at many stations. Yeah, and they're all the same price. You can't shop around for cheap gas in Dortmund, Germany. I doubt you can even do it here. There's probably no cheap gas anywhere around here. Yeah, scary stuff. Top dollar for the fuel. But I will say, here in Berlin, we've noticed a lot of this, and it's not subtle. I mean, it is in your face messaging. And I'm just going to try to show you something if I can. I'm wondering if this is it here. Yeah, okay. This is a video I shot yesterday in the main train station here in Berlin. Yesterday was Sunday. Today is Monday. It's a holiday here. So the grocery stores are closed. All businesses are closed except for the train station. At the train station, everything stays open. So I was leaving the station and I ended up coming out. You see the light there at the end of the hallway there. You're just going to see that approach in just a minute. And you may or may not be able to see what I'm about to show you. Oh, Thomas Henry just added a post. Thank you, Tom. Here we go. Right here. We're coming through the food court here and everything is open. And then I'm coming out. I'm going outside. And now I take a look to my left up here. Look up there. Okay. That is Ukraine. That is we are with Ukraine. We are with Ukraine. That is up there. And here it is again in blue and yellow. Okay. We stand with Ukraine, that said. Here in Berlin, you will find Ukraine flags everywhere. Ukraine flags are flying everywhere. And they're on cars, they're on buildings. Embassies are flying two flags, their home flag and a Ukrainian flag as a support measure. There is no fooling around about how most of the world feels about what Russia is doing in Ukraine. They're not impressed. But what it means to Germans, much higher fuel prices. Fuel prices are way up as they are in America, as they are in Canada, the UK, everywhere. And you don't hear anyone griping about it here. No one's griping about it. Yeah, inflation has gone up here. Yep, its cost of living is higher. You don't hear loud complaints. Some opposition politicians are trying to take advantage of it, politically and all that. But I can tell you that around these parts, Germans know. They do know this fact that if you don't stop the Russians in Ukraine and you let them do whatever they want there, guess what happens next? The countries around the Ukraine are going to be the next countries. Because if the Russians get the idea that, oh, no one's going to mess with us, we can go wherever we want. We're Russia. We got the nuclear bomb. We can go anywhere we want. They're going to just keep on expanding. And the Germans have memories, deep, deep, deep memories from current generation to mom and dads, to grandma and grandpa, to great-grandma, great-grandpa. These are memories that have not gone away. This city of any city ought to know what can happen if it gets out of hand. And the Germans have no problem whatsoever paying $2.50 a liter for gas. If it means that the German government, the American government, the Canadian government, the Brits, the Poles, all the other countries can supply arms into Ukraine and can get the refugees out of there and take care of them temporarily, whatever the cost is irrelevant. It is a bargain compared to what is happening in the cities in Ukraine right now. And so no one is complaining. There is support for Ukraine around here like you cannot believe. It is in your face support for Ukraine, and no one has a problem with it. Absolutely no one. It's really interesting to see how things are outside of North America in another place like this. It really is unique. I'm quite looking forward to Austria and Switzerland. I'm quite looking forward to seeing just what it's like there and what the vibe is like. Now, where we're headed to Austria, when we get to Vienna, will be as close as we're going to get to the Ukraine, which is still hundreds and hundreds of miles away from the western border, let alone where the eastern activities are taking place. But it'll be interesting to get the vibe of the locale and the whole place. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, let's see. Rocky, that's why I spend big money for insurance. Brittany, I do have a pool view. She said, Diane, so much greed with gas. What is the answer, Bruce? Simple. We have to drive less. That's our solution. We're the problem. It's not the oil companies. It's not the Mideast. It's not oil. It's not North Sea oil. It's not Canada in Alberta. It's not Texas. It's not Venezuela. It's not Mexico. It's not where the oil comes from. That's the problem. Not the problem. The problem is we, the end users, we refuse to use less. We pay more to use as much. And we complain about it. But we don't have to complain about it. We only have to cut back 5%, 10% of our usage on a monthly basis, a yearly basis, and we would crush oil prices. Because there are hundreds of millions of us between North America, South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. We are burning this stuff willingly without a gun to our head. We are burning this stuff. And most of the time, or a lot of the time, I won't say most of the time, but a lot of what we're burning off is unnecessary. We could be so much more efficient with our fuel usage. Carpool, we could do our grocery run and our coming home from work run all at the same time. We could drive the smaller car rather than the more gas guzzling car. There are ways we could just cut back just a little each. I'm not talking about sacrificing your entire lifestyle. I'm talking about little tiny changes. It would completely upset the apple cart because the difference between how much oil we are using versus how much we should be using to bring the prices back down to $2 a gallon, it's 5%, 10%. It's just the sliver of a difference. But speculators are speculators and they make money speculating, and that's what's going on. I'm doing my job. I don't use much gas at all. There you go. I rode an electric bike here a couple of times already in Berlin. We're using Ubers with electric cars and hybrids. In London, England, taxi cabs must all be electric in the next 4 years. There are already a bunch of all-electric taxi cabs in London. You are hard-pressed to tell the difference. You actually have to pay attention to notice. Once you know what you're looking for, yeah, then you know. But the cabbies are all going electric. And I'll tell you, downtown London is going to be a much better place to be from air quality control. Oh my gosh, the lack of diesel being burned in downtown London will transform that city incredibly. Nathan, I agree. As a package delivery guy, I'm filling up my truck every 2 days. When last year I was gassing up once a week. Unbelievable. Unbelievable how much it's being used up. We're using too much of it. It's our problem. It's our solution. It's our problem. And we could all do it. But the problem is that many of us, a majority of us, friends, relatives, coworkers, whatever you want to say, are just, we'd rather bitch about the price and still burn the stuff than use less of it. And there's the collective problem. And this is why Russia is bringing in billions of dollars in selling whatever they can sell. And they're now trying to sell it under the table. And the Saudis are getting rich, and they're not necessarily our best friends. And other countries, the same thing. And so we're hurting ourselves by not helping ourselves by reducing our usage of the product. But this has been talked about since I remember this being talked about since 1969. I was 14 years old, and I remember in 69, the first time I heard the term that we might run out of oil in the next 10 to 15 years because we're burning so much of it. In 69, I heard this. You could buy gas for 20 cents a gallon, 30 cents a gallon. I heard that talk back then, and we still have it today. And our environment is so much worse because of it, because we're just reluctant to reduce the amount of fuel. We're reluctant to go efficient. There are some of us who are very good at it, but we're not, those aren't making up for the others. And if you're ever on a highway between New York and Philadelphia, or a highway between LA and Phoenix, or between Salt Lake City and Las Vegas, or Frisco and Seattle, Canada, you're in on any of the major highways, you can just see how much fuel we use up. Outside of the city limits of these massive cities in which we live, there are all the trucks and the trains utilizing all this fuel, all of the planes that we can't see up in the air, they're way up there burning off tons and tons of this stuff. We are just freely burning it up, and we just won't do it. We won't conserve unless we're made to, and rather than we want to. And there's the there's our conundrum. And right now we have a war going on where we could bankrupt the aggressor. We could bankrupt Russia, absolutely drive them into bankruptcy. We just have to use 10% less fuel, and that would take their fuel off the market. That would make their fuel unnecessary to power the rest of the world, and they'd be cut off, and they would be really in trouble. They would now have to sell their fuel at $30 a barrel to get rid of it, and it would be difficult for them to sell it all because they don't have the pipeline capacity, the shipping capacity. They have to truck it out and train it up. They'd be down to 10% of their 100% production. They would go broke because they need to move all the oil they can for all the money they need to pay to keep the military in line, the secret police in line, all the judges in line, all the government officials bribed, all the officials at all the towns. I mean, Russia needs a lot of cash to keep Russia running like a mob organization that it is. Cash is king, and we could bankrupt these guys. We really could, but we're not prepared to pay the price. And there's the reality. Just saying. Nathan says, you know what? More people ordering unnecessary stuff. Munimo, I love my electric Mini Cooper. Kurt, Ukraine won the Eurovision Song Contest in May because EU people voted Ukraine as a winner. Russia could not run and was denied. That's right. And then the Ukraine group that won the Eurovision trophy auctioned it off. I think they got €1 million for it, and they donated that to Ukraine to help the country with the war. It's amazing. Yep, we're helping Ukraine. We really are. We're donating weaponry and money and food and helping. The world is helping refugees get out. All of that, yes, but we're doing it through our taxes. Unfortunately, we could really be helping them win the war by bankrupting the Russians and making it incredibly difficult for them to just subsist economically on top of having a war. We're not making it painful enough for the Russians yet to get them to want to stop fighting. It's when it's so economically damaging to the Russians that they can't afford to keep fighting. They're going to want to get their troops back home, put those tanks away, stop buying bullets and shells and everything else, and just concentrate on their economy. Until that happens, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep on going. And the guy in power, what does he care? Does he care about the average Russian on the street? No. The guy's a power player. He's going to keep going until he can't keep going. Right now, he can keep going. And there's the problem. And so we get to see his little smirk on his face every once in a while. And we keep wondering about when is he going to push the button to really cause a problem. So there you go. There's the issue. In any event, folks, there you have it. Thank you for joining me today here from Berlin, Germany. Thank you all for your kind words and support. Thank you for being members of this channel, if you're a member of this channel. Thank you for watching the videos we're putting up about our trip. We've got more coming. I have a whole lot more work to do to put up more videos, and we'll keep them coming your way. And we'll see you here next Monday. If you're a member of this channel, join me next week, 1 hour before this show, just keep your eyes and ears peeled as to when we announce the next shows, and you can join us live for the sponsor member show. And then the big show, this big show, we will be on again next week. It'll be from Vienna this time, and it should be Zurich the next time. And we'll keep you posted on our travels and how it's going, and hope you're enjoying it. We're taking you with us as best we can. And in the meantime, you guys take care of yourselves. And thank you, Diane, so much. We'll do what we can. You have a good time yourself. Everybody stay healthy out there for us, please. Do whatever your doctor tells you to do. And we'll keep you posted on our travels over the next week or so. And we'll talk to you from Vienna. All right. Take care, all. Thanks for joining us. Bye from now from Jen and Bruce in Berlin.